Nehemiah, whatever, where everything was falling apart, when the walls was broken down, they still had what was remaining was the remnant of Judah. Like, you gotta figure out what's remaining, out of your life, and focus on that piece that's remaining in your life. Um, I used to use it with my kids. I got divorced from my first marriage. I got divorced. So, though I had divorced, I had a 14-year-old, 14, let me get them right, 14-year-old, 11-year-old, and an 8-year-old. So they're over Jersey. Now I moved over to Philly. Now I got another family too, So for my second marriage, I got married again. So my 8-year-old, and I had a baby. So my 8-year-old feel like he's left out now. He feel like he don't have no father. My middle son feel like my dad's still there for him. My daughter has resentments. So there's go three different point of view of a father, three different point of view of a parent. So you gotta figure out, where their space, space is at. So even with mentees, you gotta find out what space are they in. So I had to find out what space each of my children were in and how they felt about me, what kind of resentment they felt about me. And let's work on that, work on whatever resentment is or whatever feeling it is. So with a kid, they don't have a father or have a parent or have anybody. You got to work on whatever feeling they're feeling inside, because all my experience that I have, all my experience that my kids had is probably not their experience. So you just gotta see what space they're in. And when you do find out what space they're in, then you work on that. Okay, let's work on that. Let's work towards that. Why you feel that way? But keep in mind, like, yo, you still got me. You know what I mean? You still got your mother. You still got your grandma. Oh, what about your Uncle Johnny? Oh, my uncle. And if you listen to mentees, if you listen to your mentees talk, they be mentioning some guys, like, and they don't even know. Yeah, Uncle Johnny be wanting to take you there. I'll be like, nah, he be tripping though. Uncle Johnny be crazy. Yo, Uncle Johnny said, like, tell me more about that Uncle Johnny.
Mm-hmm.
And you
Uncle Johnny be feeding them and everything.
Right. And that be who they be looking for. You know what I mean? And that's be the one who they only listen to is Uncle Johnny, and like, just if you ever listen to a kid conversation, like, you'll notice, you'll pick up on some things. And I think it's just about listening to the kids that don't have so you can see what you can do to help them, instead of like forcing like your experience on them and forcing what I experienced, this what I did. No, listen to them. And they'll tell you a whole lot when you start listening.
Do the kids be right though when they yell and say, shout out to my boy Reginald RJ Townsend being in the building. When they say, but he ain't my dad though. Like, I had some kids that, and I feel them when they say it though, but I be like, come on, bro. Like, whether it be the stepdad or the uncle, just like you said, man, I'm like, bro, this dude do everything for you.
I had that told to me before.
Yeah. He my dad.
Like,
what would your daddy be doing then, player? Cause this right here, this all right.
Yeah. And you break it down to him. Well, he do this. He take you get your hair cut. Like, all right, he make sure y'all eat. Okay, now make them break down list to him. What's your list of an ideal father? Okay, you got your list. All right, let's see what Craig do for you. Well, it seems like Craig is lining up with your ideal father right there.
Mm-hmm.
You can't feed into. Look, one thing I learned, like, you can't feed into kids' anger, because they coming from a different place. Like, you mature. If you was that age and you was that hurt, you probably say the same thing. You probably do the same thing. You ain't my father. I've been told that. And you like, that's like a hurt. Like, oh, what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna lash back at him. Like, you know what I mean? I'm gonna lash that back at him. Like, no, God placed me here because he need me here. So I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna be the mature one and say, you're right. I'm not trying to be. I'm trying to be more than that. I'm trying to be a gap filler. God placed me here for a reason. You know, you just gotta be humble when they go off on you like that, or go off
Boy,
like that.
who you telling? Who you telling? Now, Reg, you had your dad in your life, huh, Reg?
Yeah, man. I had my dad right up until I was 19. My situation was kind of a weird situation though. So if you look at my household, like in my house, it was just me and my older brother, but we didn't have the same dad. But then outside of my house, I got two other sisters too. So, one of my sisters grew up in Chicago, so she was, far out. My sister that was close to us, my dad was definitely involved in her life, but then me and my brother, my dad was involved. But here's the thing, like with us, man, my dad had worked so much, like literally this dude would get up 3, 4 o'clock in the morning getting ready to start his day. He leave the house 5 o'clock. Man, we wouldn't see my daddy until like 10, 11 o'clock that night, because even after he got our one job, he was hitting his second job trying to make sure he provided. So, he was there, but the only time we saw him outside of that would be like on Sundays. And literally on Sundays, he trying to sleep all day to kind of recoup for everything that happened during the week. So, it was kind of weird. Now I will say with my dad, I learned work ethic from my dad, work ethic and hustle, because I saw what he did for his family. But what I also learned on the flip side was not having that valuable one-on-one time because he worked so much. So me as a father, like I actually last year just changed jobs because I don't want to be that same type of dad for my daughters. I want to make sure, yeah, I'm able to provide, but time is a lot more precious. Then on the flip side too, man, my dad passed away when I was 19. So like he retired in May of 2002. He passed away in July. So I'm looking forward in May to be able to spend more time with him, that one-on-one time, because I'm becoming a man now. There's some life lessons I need to learn. So my pops, he passed away 2 months after he retired. But what I did have on top of that was mentors, in the community that I can look to. I did have an older brother, but his struggle was kind of like, man, his daddy wasn't there for him. My daddy was, and it kind of goes back to the point, like, yeah, he there for you. He raised you, but at the end of the day, that ain't your daddy. You get what I'm saying? So he kind of dealt with that hurt. So our situation was very weird. I'm grateful for it, but would I have loved to spend more time with my daddy? Yes.
So how did that make you? How did that make you feel? Like, because you can look at that and be like, your dad worked your whole life, gave you work ethic, provided for you, but he gave almost essentially. You could have a thought where you say he gave his life to work and that was it, because it wasn't nothing left for you afterwards. How did that make you feel, and how did you deal with it?
Man, it's just like I said, it really kind of goes back to your mindset of where you are now. I saw what he did for our family. Yeah, he provided, but at the end of the day, the material stuff, when we look at it, like, was it all worth it? And not really having that one-on-one time to learn those valuable lessons about life. And it just kind of changed my mindset about how I want to interact with my kids and other people around me. Work ain't all that at the end of the day. Yeah, you got to provide, but at the end of the day, like you said, man, he pretty much worked until his dying day. The day that he died, he literally had just got off a job that day. So, yeah, I mean, it hurt like hell. It hurt like hell, not to have those lessons and be there, with them one-on-one all the time, man.
Man, that's some y'all alone all got some, and I think this shares a light on to everybody who watching. Even y'all all got some crazy, different, amazing stories about fatherhood. All of y'all knew your dad from Moose, like he said, his daddy was in prison. His relationship from 10 on with his daddy in prison. Reggie, your dad worked his whole life, literally to his dying day. You know what I'm saying? So how do y'all feel like a person can leverage? Because we've talked about how we talk to them. We've talked about the mentorship in their life. How do you feel like a person can change their life if they're in the adulthood phase without their dad? Because like all of y'all kind of say y'all in the adulthood phase. Like how did it work? Like in your 20s going into your 30s, being without your dad, how did it affect you as a father for some of even the young fathers that's on here? Like, how did you build being a better father even with the experiences you had?
Well, look, I ain't a father yet though, but like being a better mentor, like I said, it had me focus on the stuff that I wish I had. Like it had me focus on really focusing on the feelings, like making sure that the mentees feel that I'm near for them, like really understand that I am here for you, not for something, not because your mom want me here, not because your grandma want me to think I'm a good person to be around you. No, I make sure that they feel that I'm here for them and to help them thing. A bit more focused. So not having quote unquote having and not having my dad made me into the person that and helped me care more for the mentees and not let it become just in which a lot of these mentors out here, they not really being mentors. Like they just saying the word. Like, no, you really gotta be involved in the children's life. And you gotta make sure, like the thing is, it's not that it's your responsibility, but it's your responsibility. Like you supposed to take on everything that comes with the child or with the mentee or with your daughter or with your son or with your whatever. You're supposed to take on everything, and you're gonna have some great days, and then you're gonna have some bad days. So don't let the bad days mold you into the kind of mentor that you are. Let the bad days make you stronger. Let the bad days make it into so that you can push through, and then that you can show them. Because a lot of the thing is this: I had like a couple positive males in my life and stuff like that, and the thing is, I used to see a lot of the stuff that was going on more than the person talked to me. So it's just like you gotta really be that person. You gotta really show them who they should be and how they should act and all of that, because they are watching. Even if they don't interact with you, even if they're not your direct mentee, your direct daughter or whatever or son, they are still watching. They are still seeing you how you walk. They're still seeing how you talk. They're seeing how you act. They're seeing how you do in these streets. And a lot of them will gravitate in your direction. But the thing is, like with me, I didn't have no positive, I didn't have nobody that gripped me up. It was like, yo, come on, this way, and this, that, and other. It was just me being who I was. I learned a lot from just watching people and watching the stuff that they was doing. And I knew the stuff that they was doing was leading them down certain paths. And it was just like, yo, I didn't want to go down those paths. So I had to self-motivate myself. But the thing is, it was hard. It was harder for me. And I want to be sure, and I want to make sure that that I can make it easier for the kids. Like give them more options. Like give them a better way out. Give them a better chance, or at least let them know about this stuff. Like, cause I'm from North Philly, and there wasn't nothing you could tell me was wrong with North Philly. Like, and like I would have rode and died for North Philly when I was growing up until I got out of North Philly. Once I realized and saw that it was better out there, it was like, yo, like hold on, I ain't gotta do this. Oh, I ain't gotta act like that. Hold on, y'all got abandoned houses, like meaning that your abandoned house means that don't nobody live there, not that it's falling down. Like y'all abandoned houses look better than our houses that we live in. And like just seeing the new and seeing the other stuff made me open my mind to it. Like, yo, I gotta do something different. I gotta be something different. But the thing about it is, I lost a lot of friends. I lost a lot of family members because they didn't get the chance to see different. They didn't know no different. They didn't know no better. And that's the thing is, like, us as mentors, we got to show them the difference. We got to show them that there is better choices to be made out there. Now, we may not be able to get them to make all the better choices, but we can at least show them and expose them to it.
Man, you said a mouthful, boy. You said a mouthful. Yeah, doubt. That's so real. Reggie, I got a question for you, even as because we're gonna go into some advantages and disadvantages. But I thought about this one because I know this one is a big one for Wheeler Dad. So you had your dad present most of your life, different than the rest of us. What was it like living up to the expectations that your father had? Because that's a big thing that sometimes slips through the cracks. And when I started mentoring kids who had a dad, that's when it hit me like these kids going through, it's not a cakewalk just because you got your dad. But these kids are going through, man, I got to live up to the expect. And as a son, you already got you know, like my boys, sometimes grab my head, grab my chain, and you walking down the hallway, I'm you, daddy. You know what I'm saying? If I'm
Yeah.
working out, they're coming in and work out, and they put me in the mind of, like I say, I learned with my mentees that you have an automatic pressure just from being a son to be like your dad. But I always wondered, you know, when asking you, what was it like living up to that pressure, on trying to meet those expectations that your father had?
Man, my dad, like I said, he taught me hard work, right? So as far as expecting that and understanding every single thing that I had to do growing up, I had to work hard at it. I won't say it was easy, but it was just kind of second nature, man. It was, you know, I don't want to let my daddy down. So of course I'm gonna go out here, I'm gonna do what I gotta do in school. His motto, he used to always be like, man, I don't care what you do, as long as you work hard at it. And while you in school, make sure you bring me some A's and B's. And I'd be, you know, effing up out there, you know. But, you know, during that particular time prior to his death, man, that was really kind of, like I said, I don't want to say it was easy, but it was just second nature, man. It was just like, I was used to working hard because that's what he taught me to do. Now, afterwards, after he passed away, I had to flip the script and I had to realize, like, another thing about me is, like, I'm the last Townsend, you know, like, I was the baby. So I got to try to carry that last name. So I started thinking about how can I instill my legacy on in my kids based on what he taught me. So that expectation kind of shifted as to I got to start instilling these life lessons in my girls early on because I got 2 girls. I got to start instilling into, you know, my nephews early on. So that way, long term, they can always be successful and make sure they work hard. But like I said, I don't want to say it was easy, but it was just second nature.
But because you were so good at it, do you feel like that makes you add more pressure or take away pressure?
I think it definitely added a little bit more pressure. But once you're under pressure, man, it's like this. Either you're going to be a diamond, you're going to shine, or you're going to burst. So that pressure helped me to excel, man. Everything I did, man, because of the pressure that was on me, he wasn't just hard like every single time I mess up. He literally had conversations with me and set me down and say, son, this is why I'm teaching you what I'm teaching you. So he wouldn't just beat me up every single time. So that kind of made those tough conversations a little bit more palatable, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Now, do you add more pressure to your girls because of the way you was able to excel at, you know, being able to meet your father's expectations?
Hey, that's a real question. And the real honest answer is with my oldest one, I definitely do. And that was something I had to scale back and look at like, man, that ain't how I was raised. So why am I being so tough on her? Because I know she has the capability to do great things. And here's the thing, my oldest is 8 years old. And she feels like every single thing she puts her hand on, she gonna shine the first time that she put her hand on it. So that's why I'm little bit tougher on her because I want her to realize that life ain't gonna be like that. Every single time you get into a new job, you ain't gonna have success. You're gonna have to work hard. So why not go ahead and do those small things now that's gonna make you better long term? So yeah, to answer your question, I'm a lot tougher on my oldest one right now, but I'm trying to scale back and find a balance, man. So that way, seeing like, man, expecting that this is what a man is gonna be like as she gets older. Because I definitely don't want her to have that mindset.
Hey, good thought. Good thought right there. You definitely don't want to have that mindset. Definitely don't want to have that one. So this is a good one. And I've heard women alike, more women than men debate this. But is there a advantage to having a dad over not having one?
Man, I don't think that question's fair, bro.
Ooh,
I really don't. I really don't think that. So I don't think that question is fair simply because if you look, like I said, you look at my household, you look at me and my brother. Yeah, my dad was there for both of us, but we grew up. As we got older, we have 2 different lifestyles, so to say.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't think that question is really a fair question to say it's easier with your dad than without. I can't speak to not having, you know, my dad beyond, you know, once I got into adulthood.
So
Yeah,
let me jump in
think
on
that's
this.
go
Let
ahead.
me
Go ahead.
jump in. So I, because I have both. So what I won't say yes or no to that. I'll just say there are pros and cons to both sides because you learn different lessons having an in-house father or having that relationship with your father, and you also learn some things with when you don't have them around, and both can mold you. And a lot of times it comes to the mental state that you have during those experiences, during those moments that'll help you be who. Like for me, um, my dad used to smoke, as well as my grandma who passed away some years ago. And so I used to get bad headaches because of it. I don't smoke, don't drink, never have, I probably never will. But I made that promise to myself in the 7th grade that I never smoke, I never drink because I didn't like the relationship I had with my dad. Like I correlated that with him at the time. As far as why our relationship was so strained, like smoking and drinking. He wasn't an alcoholic, but I just correlated that with him as well as the relationship my sister had with her dad. He wasn't around until she was 8.
Mm.
And that it was just what I knew at the time. So I'm like, I don't want any outside substances of any kind to keep me from raising any child. Like if I make that mistake, if their relationship is strained, then it's because of me, not because of something that I put in me or not because of something that I was around. It was because of what I did. And I need to be conscious when I make that decision so I can be able to make that, be able to make that transition to learn from it and do better. So it was like with the in-house, with Papa being around, I learned a great deal of structure. With him being around as long as he was, I learned how to, like, even after he left, I saw for me, it was up to me to keep that structure within the household. And make sure that I was the rebel. So I did certain things because I only knew how at the time, but I would go against my mom's word. But it's like, well, these are the household rules. This is how things are supposed to be. So if you want to be I'm pretty much indirectly making her be a better parent to me because she doesn't see how, or and my sister, because she doesn't see how that's the negative impacts of things that she's doing that she doesn't notice that she's. So it's like that not having a father, I gained that type of. So now being an adult, I know structure, but
Right.
I do understand um, having a parent around or whatever, having a dad around young, like during that time, I know what it's like to be loved by a father too, as well as the abandonment, whether it was intentionally or unintentionally. So there are pros and cons. I can pull it from different ways all day long. Whereas like, yeah, I got this, he was smoking. I didn't like being around. I had headaches. I did not want to go with him on the weekends because we didn't do much. We really, like, we went there, he worked. It was one of those deals where I go with him on the weekends because of visitation rights, and he's a real estate agent, so we just go to the office. And that was it. I didn't, like, it wasn't no real celebration when I came or anything like that. So I took that and I'm like, all right, that's not what I want to be. That's not the type of person. So I'm going to search for the ones that have that positive influence, that have that positive model, and I'm going to attach myself to them. I wasn't the one that was like, I saw something negative, then I molded to that environment. It was like, I don't like that, so I'm gonna go this way. Whatever it was. It's like my friends do, I don't like that, so I'm gonna go this way. So having that, I'm grateful for both. I am extremely grateful for both because having that type of experience, I have godchildren who I call my kids. And I pull from the experience I have with my dad, the moment I pull from what I had from my mom. I pull from what I had from Papa. When I was home last time, I took my godson with me because he's not around males. He's around more females than males. So I just took him with me. And so we went to go see my dad. I don't see him often. but I wanted him to come with me to go see my dad, just check up on, see how you doing. Then we went to go see my stepdad too, because I wanted him to. I want him to get a better experience when it comes to connecting, have a relationship with a father figure than in areas that I might not have gotten. So I'm more aware of the things that I need to have that I didn't get because of me not having that relationship. But I'm also aware of the things that I should have because of who was there at that same time. So it's pros and cons. It's not really a yes or no.
Gotcha. So Moose, you had some on it too. If having a dad give you a little bit of an advantage over the ones that don't have one.
I think that's an advantage. That's definitely an advantage. I mean, they said it's not yesterday. That's an advantage. If it wasn't an advantage, if God wouldn't have first attention wouldn't have been for that. So I mean, well, it's a certain type of father you have, whether you're there, whether you're present or present. Just, you understand, present or there. You know, a father can be, there but not present. Just because you got a crappy father doesn't mean it's not an advantage. You have a father, someone there, somebody working all day, but guess what? What you got? You got lights on. You got food in your refrigerator. You understand what I'm saying? That's an advantage. Having a father there, to hold you at night when you crying at night. That's an advantage. Having somebody that you can call on and not wait for them to call you, and they say you got 1 minute to that call. That's an advantage for that. No matter how crappy your father was, it's an advantage you having him in life, whether because he's gonna give you things that you shouldn't do and things that you should do. Gonna give you some structure and give you some things that like not too worried. But all in all is advantage. You can look at. I always refer to the Bible. I always refer to the Bible. David was a man after God's own heart, but he wasn't the greatest father of all. His son Absalom turned on him because Absalom killed his brother Amnon for raping his sister Tamar. Where was David at? David was absent. Just like his father Jesse was absent from him when he was out in the field. So that generational curse is picked up. You know what I mean? But the advantage of having that was to I have to make it right with my son. You know what I mean? I had to make it right with my son. I had to make this right with Absalom. You understand what I'm saying? So I feel that it's an advantage to have a father. I see where you go down the line of not having a father, and how that feeling of not having a father and that feeling of having a father. I talk to my son that's with me right now, my oldest son from my previous marriage. Yeah, like from the first, I say my two sets of kids because I got one 18 to 23, and then I got 10-year-olds to 4-year-olds to 10-year-olds. So like
you be over there forgetting birthdays and everything, huh?
No, I don't forget birthdays. I know all their birthdays, bro. I know all their birthdays. February 13th, November 18th, September 14th, October 17th, December 25th, August 7th. Yeah, that's it. I know all their birthdays. But what I'm saying is the advantage of them having me, like them having me present, and that's what we did. A advantage of a father being present is a definite advantage. I know we say like it's it's not a yes or no thing, but I believe like it's definitely an advantage because even though who wasn't there, you get so much out of it. You know what I mean? You get so much out of it, whether it's good or bad or indifferent. You learn so much out of the situation.
And I think both go through different things. Like what Reg was saying, the stuff he went through with meeting the expectations. But just like you saying, Moose, that was expectations to me. I'm a kid that's from poverty, from growing up in the projects. And I think about this with single mothers, the pressure that my mom had not having a second parent. So your mom, and then I'm her only boy, and I'm her baby boy. So my mom the whole time fought the narrative of the streets raising me, because when you ain't had no daddy, that's the thing they finna tell you, man. The streets our daddy, bro. I'm like, well, listen, well, all our daddies in jail. You know what I'm saying? Dead, or still out here doing stuff we don't really be wanting to do. We want the glory of it. But even when I was a kid, I was like, man, I don't know if we really want to, do all the stuff that we're seeing that involved in the street. So I can definitely see and understand every side. But I'm one that I would have to vote too for. It's definitely some advantages, and I believe there's some advantages because that's why I'm the type of father I am to my kids. Cause I'm knowing without me, oh man, you got a hard path, bro. You both of y'all got a hard life if you remove me from the picture. You know what I'm saying? So I can definitely vote on that side on that one. My man John Mack is in the building. John, what you say? And did you grow up with a dad? And if you did or didn't, what was the expectations like? And if you didn't, what was your disadvantages? As like me and Moose say, was like that you seen.
I grew up with a dad. My dad was my hero.
Wow.
My dad still is my hero. If you ever listen to any of my gold nuggets, if you ever listen to my show, I'm always referring to something my dad said. My dad was a man's man. My dad got up every day, he scrapped his boots up, he went to work. My dad loved my mom. That's why I don't have no babies and nothing that flying out here. My dad promoted marriage. That's why I respect marriage, the institution of it, and that's why I'm getting ready to be married soon. The one thing I can say is my dad left me too early. My dad left me when I was 22. 22, was that 22? 22 years, 22, 22, 20, 22, 23. And I made mistakes in my 20s that I believe if my dad was here, I wouldn't have made.
Wow.
I really did. I made mistakes in my 20s, even my early 30s, that I know my big dog would have been like, I don't even understand what you're doing right now. That ain't even what we gonna do. And I had an assertive dad. I didn't have a dad that laid back, kind of like, my dad didn't give suggestions. My dad gave orders. And he told you that. Like, I don't suggest. When I talk, I'm telling you what to do. I never forget, I tell the story to my fiance. She laughs every time. I got my first apartment when I was 18 and a half years old. My first apartment, me, myself, 18 and a half. What y'all think happened? My homies had keys. We was throwing parties every night. We had girls running in and out my spot. I mean, it was going down. My brother came over. Oh, it was going down. My brother came over, saw a party going down, and I knew it in his face. I said, he gonna go snitch on me. He went home, told my dad. I knew it. It was in his face. He had snitched in his face. Like, it was like he about to tell. About that morning, I was there. I had a shorty in there with me, and I heard my dad got a distinctive. This is how specific my dad is. He got a distinctive knock, and I heard it. It was. I knew it. The girl like, who knocking at the door? I said, that's my dad. How you know that's your dad? I know my dad's Paul. That's my dad. That Paul that knocked at my door every day when I was living with him for years coming home from work. That's my dad. I get to the door, I open the door, and sure enough, it's Big Dog. He's sitting there, he ain't even saying nothing, he's just looking at me. I tells my father, Dad, the next time you want to come by my house, just call. He looked at me with a look like I'm getting ready to smack the taste out your mouth. And I looked and I said, well, come on. And then the girl that was upstairs yelled downstairs, not knowing I confirmed it was my dad. Who that? My dad. It's my dad. My dad took her home, right? He said, get dressed. He took her home. My dad squatted at my place for 2 weeks, man. Squatted. When I mean squatted, he literally stayed at my place for 2 weeks. But in those 2 weeks, my dad taught me how to balance a checkbook. He taught me how to take care of the bills. He taught me what should be taken care of in a home, how it should be taken care of first, what's priority, what's not priority. By the time he got done, I had a blueprint on how I should operate my house. Oh, by the way, he took all the keys back from all my friends. Everybody had to bring their key back. He texted everybody, give me the key. He said, I'm changing the locks so that y'all bring me the key. And everybody had to bring their keys back. And I didn't realize, but I had 11 keys out. 11. My dad took them all. Yeah, all my friends, Messiah, Vincent, all my friends had keys. Everybody had keys. My dad took them all. But when he got done, bro, I never forget the lesson. I got my check. I thought I was about to go to the club that weekend. I was getting ready to go buy some Air Force Ones, a brand new lay. Y'all know how we do it. I'm getting ready to go hit City Blue up, get my lay, get my Air Force Ones. I'm getting ready. But my dad's voice came back to me. I took care of all my priorities, and I had 50 whole dollars. I went to my dad's house. This is the day me and my dad stopped being. My dad said to me early, I'm not your friend, I'm your dad. When you have responsibilities like me, I'll become your friend on that day. I'll never forget the day he became my friend. I walked in the house, I sat down, and I plotted down like this. And I'm making noise like I really want his attention. He finally turns around. My dad was screwed too, so he really, the sympathy thing wasn't him. So he looked at me, he was like, what's the matter with you? Why you over at my house crying for no reason? No sympathy, no empathy, no nothing. Just, what's the matter? I'm like, man, I paid all the bills. I did everything you told me to do. He said, and what's the problem? I said, man, all I got is $50 left. My dad was like, he laughed so hard, I felt offended. I was like, why is he laughing? He said, son, if you took care of all your bills and you got $50, you win. If it's gas in the, if you did everything I told you to do, it's gas in the car, it's food in the refrigerator. If you did everything I told you to do and you got $50 left, you're winning. You won. You won. He said, so stop complaining and let's talk about how we can bring some of your bills down, like that $230 light bill that I keep telling you to cut them lights off. Remember I kept telling you to cut them lights off? Try that for a month, see what happens. Bro, I cut the lights off. My bill went from $230 to a whole whopping $46.
That's right. That's
just simply by cutting the lights off like he told me to. So when I tell you my pa, man, my dad was not only my dad, but I got friends who will tell you he was my dad. And it's sometimes having a dad like mine help your friends around you. Because my best friend Vincent will tell you to your face. He got a dad that's alive on this earth. He'll tell you to your face. Mr. Papa John was my dad. Because I learned how to walk and be a man from him. And I don't want to be long, so I'm going to end you with this. I just went to my friend Vincent's baby shower. And me and my friend Messiah was talking. And he made me realize how many of my friends didn't have dads. He actually looked at me and said, Mac, you don't realize what you had in Mr. John was not normal. What we had was normal. I didn't have no dad. He said, let's run down it. He's like, I ain't had no dad. Hawk didn't have no dad. He just started running down. And before you know it, it was like out of the 20 of us, like 17 to 16 of us had no dads and the rest of us had dads. And realistically, only 2 of us had legit, like Moose said, legit dads. The other 2, one was like a Kevin Hart dad, like crackhead type. Like he come around, make my young boy think he gonna come, leave out, come around, come. And then the other one was like Blue Moon popping. But we only had 2 dads, realistically, that was in the life. And that's why it's important that the man be in position. Because like Boom said, it's definitely a benefit. It is. You can say, and no offense to people who didn't grow up without a dad, who grew up without a dad. But the one thing, because I commend you. Because if you poured your bootstraps up without a dad and you still made it, and you still became an integral man, that's honorable. That's very honorable to see that you didn't have a man presence constantly and still was able to fight through that, because the system say you should be a statistic. The system say that you shouldn't have made it. The system say you shouldn't be an upstanding, generational, curse-breaking man. And I see a lot of them doing it. So at the end of the day, I commend them because I had a dad and he was excellent. He was awesome. And the biggest thing about your dad is you watch what he do. You watch him. You watch him. And I watched my dad love my mom so much that I couldn't as a man, I can admit this now that I'm my age. As a man, I couldn't even try to be a player because I wasn't taught to be one. I couldn't try it. I couldn't. I tried for a week. I got caught. My lies didn't make no sense. I gave my card back. I got caught 1 week. I thought I was doing. I had 2. I was about ready to juggle these ones. Oh, I got 2. By the end of the week, they both was like, one left, and the other just looked at me like, you dumb. Like, why did you think that lie even? I'm laughing because it didn't even make, I love you, I'm gonna stay with you, but you're just dumb. Like, why did you even try? You don't got a player bone in your body. I don't know. I just thought it was all my friends was doing it. We all was in the streets. I just thought it was the thing to do. I had to accept, you know what? My dad didn't raise no whore. My dad raised a young man that commits to a woman. He commits to her. He takes care of her. He makes sure she's straight. He marries her.
That's big.
That's my dad married. That's my dad raised. So I couldn't become something else I wanted to become if I wanted to because of what was installed in me already. In my computer, I could not change the hardware because the hardware was already put in me by 18.
That's crazy. That's crazy. And that leads into our topic. We pretty much go break it all in and wrap up with it. Because even as y'all saying this, it's making me think about, because it's so much what y'all saying is making all the pieces come together and making so much sense in so many different ways. And like what you were saying with how, you know, your homeboy was able to see you have a father, and just like Moose said, you know, his father was in jail. My first ever father figure was one of my best friends, his dad. And I remember when his dad got out of jail, having to talk with us, man, about not going to jail, having to talk with us about staying clean and living right, you know, and it still made a difference. You know what I'm saying? Like we were saying, because guess what? Even though I had him for a moment, he still wasn't my dad. So I remember all of the blank time. I can remember even coming up to this, just thinking about it. I can remember all the blank times where I didn't have a father, but I'm able to relate. And it made me think about this. What, you know, what is the voice in your head? Because if you haven't had a father figure, you may not have an authoritative voice. You may can hear your mom, but if you don't have an authoritative voice in your head that can make you stop, I'm talking about that can tell you no. No, the answer is no. To make you stop from doing some things, it will drive you to some stuff. And it makes me think about that when you say that, you know, you was better off in relationships because, and this is a whole different world in itself, we'll end up getting into, and if it go there, go there. But men who, when you're told being a whore, being, you know, being out there, you know what I'm saying, is compliant to manhood, when actually it's a big breach in fatherhood. Because I know a lot of players who ain't daddies. You know what I'm saying? They fathers, that's their kid, but they ain't, but you know what I'm saying? They ain't taking care of them. You birthed them, you put it in them, but that's not what they have. So to even hear you say that, it makes a big difference. You know what I'm saying? And all of that lines up, that voice, and you'll be able to make that decision making. And even I appreciate what you said, because I grew up without a dad. And a lot of people, and like a lot of people don't know, if you hear me say like my pops, now my dad, I'm talking about my spiritual father, who for the last 10 years poured into me. And I think about it often now. I said, man, it must have been hard pastoring and helping me, man, because then, I mean, this man gave me my first car, and I said, man, it must have been a little hard, because I think about the stuff I know now to do and not do. It was some times he had to have talks with me that I completely didn't understand what he's saying, because he's saying it from a dad perspective, and I don't know what you're talking about, bro. All I know is going for what you know. Discreet was my dad. You know what I'm saying? Like, as bad as a statement that was, I finished, when things would get pressurized, I would do whatever the streets version of it was to do. Things get rowdy, I finna get rough. You know what I'm saying? It was what I had. And, you know, now, knowing, even in business, sometimes when I get frustrated, I think about, it's his voice, the authoritative voice that I hear that says, You can't do that like that. You got to hold on to your integrity. You got to hold on to your character. So all y'all got different situations. Some of y'all have had your dad, and many of y'all, like you say, you don't have him no more. What is that voice like that you hear? And even in this too, what's that voice like that you hear? And how can we help get more of those voices out there to these young men? Because it's a big gap. And there's a lot of dudes who don't have that voice.
Yo, listen, it's real, not real simple, because it's not real simple. But what you can do is, like with me, I didn't know when I was a kid that was a benefit of me having my dad, because all the stuff that he put me through or the stuff that he didn't do, I used to look at it like, yo, he's hurting me, or he don't love me, he don't care about me. But the other thing is, I still used to see my dad and see the stuff and see situations he went through and how he handled stuff. So all the charisma and all the friendly stuff and all the out there and super like connecting to people, that's my dad. My dad was connected. Everybody loved my dad. Like they love, like if you could tell nobody nothing wrong about my dad. And that's me. So it's just like I picked up a lot of his good traits too. But I also learned from a lot of his mistakes and things. So like John was saying, his dad pointed him in the right direction, showed him the stuff what to do. My dad was an example that I saw from a distance, and I learned was like, yo, I don't want to do that, or I do want to do that, or I would like that in my child's life and all that. So like the ones who don't have the dad, or the one that left or not there, they just need to they can pick up from other people, and it doesn't have to necessarily be a dad, your uncle, they can be a neighbor down the street. I also had neighbors that was taking me on fishing trips, that was taking me like basically out the block and off the out the neighborhood, because they saw something more in me than I saw in myself. And that's the thing. Like there are people out here that believe in you. There are people out here that want to help you, and people that really want to get you to that next level or help you achieve in life. But the thing is, the kids or the mentees, they just gotta be open to receive the help and receive the guidance from them. So if you don't have a physical dad or if you don't have a physical dad, there's always somebody that's doing something that's in the at least the direction that you want to go, and you can just cling on to them or learn from them, or even pick their brain like, hey, Miss Johnson or Mr. Turner or whoever, ask them like, hey, Mr. Turner, I see you out here all the time. You got that nice clean car, or you doing? Because it's always some fly dude on the block or in the neighborhood. So you're like, Mr. Johnson, I see how you go to work and you always come back and your car stay clean. You always like, how do you do that? Like, what makes you do all the stuff that you're doing? Or ask Mr. Johnson, hey, Mr. Johnson, you need help cleaning your car? You need help cleaning this stuff, cleaning that? Because the thing about it is, you can learn as a kid that there are people out there for you, and there are mentors, and there are father figures, and you got what they're doing and learn from what they're doing. Also connect with them to see if they can help you reach the levels that you're trying to get to.
That's real. That's real.
What was the question?
It was
Your dad, your
with
voice.
that
No, I know.
voice. How can we help get that voice?
I know it was. So no, I was just I asked Steve there on the podcast. What's the question I asked you again? No.
You gonna keep the whole 9 now.
No,
Spirit lead me.
So I believe getting that voice has been just being consistent with it. You know, don't deviate for what you're talking about. You understand what I'm saying? Because if you're saying one thing and you live in another, your voice ain't gonna stick in nobody's head. What's gonna stick in their ears is your actions and what you really doing. So I even take it as my dad or whatever. I never took it like, how can he tell me what to do, son, and he's in there? I always listen to the things that he said because he's in there. You understand what I'm saying? And I noticed, like, you asked how my siblings take it. My younger brother always said, he's like your pop said, you can't let these women drive you crazy. You off your focus. Because if you take you off your focus, you won't have nothing. But he said that to him because he focused on girls. he said that to in a different tone about focus to me because I focus on I have a family, you know what I mean, on very family structure and very family origin. So his voice is always in my head, and my dad's voice is in my head because he was consistent. You understand? Like no matter what, like I said, fathering from behind bars. He couldn't do certain things, but what he did and what he did say, they were consistent. They always matched up with his life. What my mom said about him, they match up with his life. What I knew about him, what he said matched up with his life. And if you want to be a voice in these kids' head and how to be a voice in these kids' head, you can't be talking to them about this, that, and then go out and try to smoke weed with them. You understand what I'm saying?
That's
you can't
real.
be talking with them and try to pop a Corona with them. You know what I mean? Or saying, yo, what's up? I had one of my mentees say to me, right? It's like, what's up, guys? What's up? He said, Mr. Smooth. He said, what's up? What's up? He said, what's up, bro? One of them said, what's up, bro? Excuse me? Excuse me? Bro. Where we get that from? Oh, no, I ain't mean, yeah, no, I don't know what you're trying to be fly or something, but we don't do that. It's Mr. Moosey or Mr. Moo. That's what it is. Or Unk. That's what it is. But you gotta put respect on that, man. Oh, I apologize. It's cool, man, but you understand where I'm coming from? Like, we can't do that because I'm not saying I'm better than you, but like, you have the respect. I deserve respect because I'm respecting you, you know. And if I let that fly, you know what I mean, or if I let you come in the store and you just cursing out your friend at the store and y'all cursing bust, and I'm right in front of you, and I don't turn around and say, hey man, have some respect, like watch your mouth. You know what I mean? You don't need to talk like that. Explain to them why, and I like explaining to kids too, you know, like why, you know, because you need to learn some other terms other than, you know, curse words. And you have to be consistent because if you let that fly, then they're going to look at you another time while you up there trying to preach or up there trying to teach. But Mr. Moo, like, I was just out there. What you trying to put on a different concession here?
Yep.
Then you won't be that voice. You'll be that clown. You understand what I'm saying? So they look at you like, oh, what would Moo do? Oh, Moo a clown. Like, you know, he not acting out where he teach. You know what I mean? He not practicing where he preach. So my dad was my voice because he was consistent. I know I'm my kid's voice because I'm consistent with them, you know, and I give them structure. So I think based on being consistent, that's my take on that.
I love that. Yep.
My pop voice was present when he wasn't even there. There was times I should have got in trouble that I ain't get in trouble because I heard my dad say, "I'm gonna whoop yo," literally, straight like that. Like I'm not even gonna fade or hold you. I never forget it. We went down to Front Nolany, Muno and Stephen No. The KB Toy Store just came out with the brand new Super Soaker, brand new Jones Moo, and they put them on the curb. They stacked them up like a pyramid on the curb. If you ever been to Alany, the store is here, the curb is here. They put them on the curb. People can walk behind them. They come up with an elaborate plan. We're gonna drive our bikes down and we're gonna kick them into the street, grab and go, get on your bike and roll. The plan worked like a charm. Only thing was, I stayed at Front Nolany while they did that. We went on the way back home, everybody had a Super Soaker, except for me. So for a minute, I ain't gonna lie, you driving, I'm in Logan, I'm feeling like a dummy. Everybody, yeah, we gonna go back, load these joints up, start hitting it. 2 hours later, I start hearing sirens all over the neighborhood. They done rounded up, out of 20 kids, they done rounded up 16 kids. They got them at 17th Wing and Hockin, sitting on the curb with the manager of KB Toy Store sitting there. Me and another kid, I'm not gonna say his name, is up the park shooting hoops. and he has the super soaker on his bike. The cops walk up. They say, now the cops walk up, but guess who I see out the corner of my eye near the building? My dog against the building like this. And I'm like, oh, they pull up. When they pull up, the cops say, who bike is this? I walked over to mine. I ain't say who bike that was. But I walked over to mine, said, this is my bike. I ain't snitch. I just was telling you. I didn't snitch. I just told the cop.
I can't stand that.
Hold on. Come on. All I was saying was identifying my bike.
I sit right here. You know I'm the only one left there, and you over there.
Look, bro. Let me tell you something, bro. My dad is sitting there looking at me. I know for a fact this is my bike. The cop grabbed my man like, okay, so this guy is only y'all two up here shooting. This is your bike. Come on with us. Like, took him up to 17th Street, right? Yo, listen to me carefully, bro. The KB Toy Store man gave every parent a choice. The Super Soak, I think, was $80. He told every parent, if y'all give me $100 per Super Soaker right now, I would consider them paid for, and I won't press charges. If I don't get every Super Soaker paid for, all these kids are going to jail. And the parents start scrambling. They got that bread up. And, hey, they got that what was it? I think it was like 1800. They got it up.
Yes.
They got it up. Everybody had to get a bean.
This how you got some good parents. Because at any point in time that would have went down here, let me tell you why. They would have been like, lock them up.
Let me tell you what the cop said, though. The cop was smart. The cop told all the parents, if y'all don't pay the bean, it's going to be $4.25 to get them out down the precinct. So y'all got a bean or $4.25, because the minute we book them, y'all not getting them back without $4.25. So it was like, what choice you had? And it's $4.25, and your son now got to go to court, juvenile court, and all that. When all you got to do is get a bean up, beat the brakes off of him when you get home, and that's it. So that's what they did. And my pop came up, grabbed my basketball. He was like, you had anything to do with this? I was like, no. He was like, be honest, was you there? Yep. Did you kick it? Nope. Come on, let's go home and eat. That's all I did. But my dad saved me that day, because I couldn't, and his voice still, even today, I hear my dad in certain situations say, don't do that. Now, man, this is crazy, man. The things that didn't make sense when I was younger are starting to make good sense now. You know how your dad or your people used to say something to you, and you used to be like, that don't, you was a kid, so you're like, that sounds stupid. It don't sound stupid no more. It's making sense now. It's like, oh, okay, I get it. I get it. I understand, Dad. I understand. My dad's voice reigns supreme in me. And not only that, but it like my friends, like the Vinces of the world, and I keep bringing them up because he's more like my brother. I got people that I call friends, and then I got a select 3 or 4 that we've been with each other so long and been through so much. We like brothers. Steven's one of them. Messiah's another one. Vincent's another one. And we're like brothers. And when I tell you that my pop, having that voice is key, man. Because that voice sometimes blocks the wrong road. That voice blocks the wrong road. Sometimes it's your guiding point. It's no disrespect. I'm not trying to disrespect. Sometimes it's like your second Holy Ghost. It whispers to you. It whispers to you when you're in a jam. And I think God allows that, because God cannot allow that, but I think God allows that because sometimes that voice is so authoritative in your heart that when you hear it, you stop. My dad's voice made me stop. Like, he had to yell. My dad would say, hey, and I'm like, stop. So, I mean, and if they don't have the voice, the one thing I always say is, you know when you got a child's, when a child's, your voice is in them. Because before they can listen to your voice, they got to feel you in their heart. They got to know it's a love, and even with mentoring, man, my kids that drove me crazy the most, the ones who love me the most today. And I can go back and tell you how they got on my every fiber of nerve I had when I was in the middle of mentoring them. Yet those are the ones that walk up to you in public and put their arms around you and cry and say, thank you, Mr. Mack. I remember when you said this. You might have thought I wasn't listening, but I was listening. I didn't go this. Mr. Mack, you know the dude that got killed over there? Yeah, I used to hang with him. I stopped hanging with him because of what you said. And that night, I probably would have been on that corner, but I wasn't. And they shot him and his cousin up 15 times. These are stories that mentor kids are telling me. So, like we talked, piggybacking off of last week, your voice can be the difference between a child being in the right place and the wrong place. But that daddy, that fatherhood, when I do PDs, listen, it's 2020. I only did about 2 of them, but when I did the professional developments for some teachers, the first thing I told them is, you're in 2020. The one thing you're going to have to understand is some of these kids are going to come in this classroom and really see you as their mother and father.
Sure enough.
And you're going to have to accept that as a teacher. I know you only came here to teach, but you in this neighborhood. You're not in the sticks. You here. These kids don't have no father figure, and you a tall man with a farm example. You got the ability to put something in them that they don't even have at home. Take it serious.
That's real. That's real. That's real. Corey, you got anything on the voice?
Yeah. So piggyback a little bit off of what Max said, how he deterred from going a route with the rest of the folk that got rounded up by the police. Like it how it keeps you on a certain path, and keeps you from going down. It also it can help you because the voice that I had was Papa's more than anyone else's. I was the type that liked to gravitate towards older men, period, because I had in my mind a long time ago, so I can't really get that from my friends because they've been living just as long as I have. So what type of wisdom can they give me right now in the space that I was living in? So I have an advisor, Mr. Rhymes. He was the one who helped fill in that gap when I was in this youth group. But Papa, even as long as he was, had been in the house up until middle school days, and even still engaging with me afterwards, not as often, but still, it was some form of consistency. Like I hear, and I talk to Papa about it often, but when I would give my other friends advice, I would hear things that he tell me come out of my mouth to them.
Yeah.
And I stop and I'm like, oh crap, I sound just like Papa. It's like I wasn't trying to, but it made sense. It's like, well, shoot, man, he used to give it to me all the time or whatever, and now I'm spitting it out at other folk. It's like, dang, man, what in the world? So it also helped me figure out, in some ways, what's the word I want to use? Weed out the bad people that I shouldn't be around. Like how it did with Mac. Because like I said, he was the one that helped create that structure, and I was old enough to grasp it when he left the house. And because of that, and because of the relationship we have now, it's continually enforced in me to not do certain things and to do certain things. So yeah, that was it. That was it for me. And so I used that to instill onto the kids that I mentor, my god kids, certain things that I say, certain things that I do, especially my godson. That comes, it comes straight from Papa. It ain't even stuff that's coming out of my mouth most of the time. It's things that he told me all the time, and I'm just shooting it out. It made sense. You know, it helped me get to where I was. It helped keep me from certain type of dangers and stresses that I could have been involved, you know, things like that. It kept me from being around the corner where all the foolishness was going on, kept me on my block. And so even with the way that I engage and interact with people, especially kids, you know, learning that, you know, older generation, with everybody being a mentor here,
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure you've heard someone's parents or someone in the neighborhood, some older person, talk about some kids like, oh, them no good kids, or they don't want to learn nothing, or they ain't know, you know, they ain't know, you know. But then you look at it like they just need some guidance.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
That's all it is, and it's like somebody just didn't take time with them.
Yep.
And being able to have that different type of childhood where I had a stepfather give me that. He took like I hold on to that, to where it's like he stepped up. He put in the work. Like I wasn't his biological son, but he treated me as such, and he still treats me as that. He tells me this is what and I can't wait to tell my godson. He tells me these days, I'm not just a father figure. I'm your brother, and I'm your friend. You can talk to me and I listen, and I can talk to you and you listen. We never really have to argue. We don't have to fuss and fight. It's like, and he reminds me of that part of the relationship. Like there, he tells like he's the person I get. Steven talking about me doing, you know, handyman stuff. That's where I get it from. He's the master carpenter.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I got it from. And every time, and I love working with him and vice versa, because there are certain things that he sees as far as when it comes to projects, and then there are certain things that I see. And the fact that he takes his time to actually accept my ideas or my suggestions when it comes to things that we do, like he has a plethora of knowledge. But then every once in a while, I may find some like, why don't we try doing it this way? And the same thing goes to them, like, well, does it really matter if it's right here? Like you still get okay. So having that type of connection, that type of relationship, that type of voice going on, I do the best I can to pass it on to others, to where it's not, you know, I'm not just as a mentor, I'm understanding my position, I'm understanding yours, and being able to have that healthy dialogue to understand each other, to where we can actually, you know, because you have some that will talk to, they'll give them instructions, but they won't listen to them. Like I think like what Moo said or whatever, you know, being able to listen to them. So having that from Papa, where even though I was young, well, I'm still younger than him. I'm always gonna be younger than him. But when I was a kid, and he actually listened, and taking that mentality to other kids and listen, not just give them instruction. Yeah, you older, you have some experience, you've been living longer than them, but you haven't been living their life.
Love it. And that's what's so powerful about all different perspectives, man, and different stories, the beginnings and continuations of each, where y'all have had y'all places where y'all have had y'all dads in y'all lives. So it's definitely one that I know I'm gonna revisit. I'm gonna cap this thing because I know we gonna come back, because there's so many things that still came to my mind on fatherhood. Such a beginner of a topic, you know, and I think the biggest thing we can take from it is I think every young man out there, and a lot of young men out there need that voice. And I know so many young men still to this day void of that voice. You know what I'm saying? And not only if they have a mentor or not, but I meet too many young men who ain't got no mentor. I meet too many young men who still ain't got no father figure. So I think this is some stuff we laid down today that was good for every side. That was good for the dads. That is good for the stepdads, as we talked about. That's good for the mentors and all of those who are included. So if Moose, I'm gonna have you if there's anything you can say to young men today who are out there without a dad, I'm gonna let you end us off with a message to them. Young men out there dealing without a dad, if you can encourage them, say anything to them in this current world, this current climate, especially the young black brothers right now, needing that hope, needing that faith, needing that light, what would you say to them, brother?
Oh, I let's say what I was talking about earlier. Like, it's somebody that God placed in your life that's there. I know your biological father might not be there. You know, the person you want might not be there, but you gotta hold on to who's there and pour out of what's there. God placed somebody in life, whether it's that uncle, whether it's your homie father, whether your homie uncle. You gotta hold on to that person that's in your life, even if it's your mother right now. You know, your aunt, your grandmother. Hold on to that person that's in your life, and do me a favor, talk to that person. Don't hold that pain in. Don't hold that pain in that you feeling, that neglect that you feeling from a father, not having a father, that neglect that you feeling for, you know, not having somebody to hold on, not having somebody tangible to talk to, not having who you want to talk to. Don't hold that pain in. Let that pain out. Talk to somebody. Address how you're feeling. You know, don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to talk to somebody about help, because if you don't address that feeling of that anger, that resentment, that bitterness, it's going to affect you your whole life. If you don't find forgiveness in your heart, it's going to affect you when you have kids. It's going to affect you when you try to build relationship with people in the long run. I don't care if you're 14 right now, 15 right now, 16, 17 right now. If you don't find forgiveness, if you don't find an outlet to that anger that you feeling, that bitterness that you feeling, that unnaturalness that you feeling, if you don't find an outlet to it, it's going to end up in a negative way for your whole life. So whoever's around you, whoever your support system is, it might not be the ones that you wanted to be, but hold on to those people and allow those people to help you. So I gotta say.
I love it, man. Man, so honored, man, and thankful to you guys for being on with us tonight, man. So many gems, so many heartfelt things. Like I said, this is definitely one I'm gonna bring back within the 15 weeks. Man, we got so many perspectives, so many add-ins from there. For all of you who were watching and who watched it, appreciate you guys. Remember, every Wednesday, 7 o'clock, we in on this thing. Also, Mondays is BeatLife Live 101. Wednesdays is BeatLife Mentor, where I bring in a cast of expertise, stand-up guys, just like these fellas here, who are just doing the work in their lives, doing the work in young men's lives, where they can come on and help with where we want to be. Also, make sure you follow them. If you guys got any questions, if you guys are in the Philadelphia area, you can hit up Moose, you can hit up Shears, you can hit up Steven. If you're in the Dallas area, make sure that you connect with Corey. If you're in the Hattiesburg, Mississippi area, you can make sure that you connect with Reginald, many of the others in the DC area. Make sure you hit up Willie. And if you're down in the Mobile, Alabama area, where I am, definitely here to help you. It's such an international stretch that we're building here to make sure that we put that voice out there in these young men's head. But nevertheless, we appreciate you guys. We appreciate everything that not only that you guys said, the mentors, for everything that you guys are putting in. All of you listeners, all of you parents that are grabbing your boards and watching this, both on the live and on the replay. We appreciate y'all. We'll catch y'all next time. Remember, next Wednesday, 7 o'clock. Monday, we'll be on with BeatLife Live. All right, we appreciate y'all. BeatLife.